Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel. I work here in PageSuite's Atlanta office, and I am the U.S. account manager over here for the United States and Canada presence. And we've created this webinar to help with current clients and any interested clients in uploading and processing your first edition. It's a question that I get asked a lot. It's something that we go over routinely with our training options that are available, and I just thought it would be helpful for everyone to see a webinar of the uploading and processing part of creating your first digital edition. Just to let everybody know, we have a questions option available. You can send a private message or you can send a public message, but please feel free to ask questions as they go along. If it's something that I can answer in the middle of what I'm doing, I'll gladly do so. If not, I'll hold off and answer questions at the end. If you have any trouble hearing me or anything along those lines, please let me know that as well. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me. I'm going to switch over into the PageSuite back office portal and we'll get started. This is the PageSuite back office. This is the first thing you see when you log into your account. So as I said, what we're going to be doing today is creating a publication and creating a new edition and then going over some of the reporting options that are available, because those are the first few things you want to set up when you first create a digital edition with us. To give you a little bit of history about PageSuite, we were launched in 2006. We are headquartered in the United Kingdom. We have an office here in Atlanta, and our presence is growing to London and Dubai as well. Our UK headquarters are in Kent. We started originally with digital editions and quickly moved into apps, but the digital editions are kind of our bread and butter. It's what drives all of our other products. So creating these editions, since all of our other products are dynamic, this is going to be the backbone to everything that you can do with us. Your digital editions are replicated in your apps. They're available in HTML5, and then you can also have them available in our new PageSuite Live apps. All right, to go ahead and get into this, here on your PageSuite back office portal, the first thing you're going to do when you want to create a new publication is, quite obviously, create a publication. Now, this is where you can start branding and creating a unique experience here. So this is obviously going to be the title of your publication. So we're going to call this Rachel's Webinar. I'm going to ignore this RSS feed. That's an advanced option that not many of our users use, to be quite honest. But if you have an RSS feed, we have a variety of different ways to incorporate that here into the digital editions. But for our purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and ignore it. I'm going to choose the type of publication that we have. So you can see we have a lot of different options. This is our US clients broad back office, so it's going to have a lot of huge options in here. For our purposes today, I'm just going to choose a monthly. Contact name and contact email address, these are going to correlate to the people or the person that will receive the technical emails. So emails such as your publication has processed, your publication has failed to process, your publication has been HTML tiled, those types of notifications. So again, my name is Rachel Broadbent. If you want to take note, this is my email address. Nope, that's not my email address. This is my email address. Precision is our latest browser. It's our most up-to-date version of the back office here. So generally, you're going to want to keep Precision enabled. The only other option here is Prestige, and that's one of our older versions. So we're going to leave it set to Precision, and we're going to leave the left-hand tutorial on. Create publication. Here on the next page, it's going to ask me if I'm happy. I am so happy to create this publication. This is going to be the longest part of this. This and creating a new edition has to go through quite a process in our back office. All right, so here we are in publication settings, and we differentiate between publication settings and edition settings. Anything you change on a publication level is going to impact past, present, and future editions. Anything you change on an edition level will impact just that one edition. So here you can see we're in publication information. To make things easy, we have this breadcrumbs toolbar up here. So I'm going to be using that often. First thing we want to do is enable our HTML5. All I'm going to change here is I'm going to change it from disabled to enabled. And then I'm going to scroll down here and change the cache level to 9. 9 is just a little bit easier for our processors to work with. I usually switch between 9 and 10. It's just the number of pages that are going to load, and it will keep the additions from loading too slowly for you. Everything else is standard. We typically don't change these unless we find a need to. So these have been tested throughout the years, and it's what seems to work for most publications. Save settings. Now I'm going to use the breadcrumbs and go back to the publication settings. Okay, I've enabled HTML5. Now I'm going to enable the auto linker. Now, the auto scanner is going to pick up links with 90 to 95% accuracy. It will pick up URLs, email addresses, and annotated links. I went to edit publication settings. These are my advanced publication settings. And I'm going to go here to processing options. Again, just like with the HTML5 settings, these are standard. We change those when we find there's a need to, or if we're dealing with really high quality images that we want to make sure they're nice and crisp, but we don't want the edition to load too slowly. That's where we can go and change these. What I'm mostly interested in here for the purposes of getting that first edition up is enabling that auto linker, because that will process when the edition processes. So I want to get everything in order so that when we go ahead and upload that first edition, the system already knows that it needs to tile for HTML5 and it needs to run the edition through the link scanner and pick up those links for me. These are all of the default options associated with the link scanner. My personal preference, I'll keep this as it is. This is the default hover text, so what people see when they hover over the link. However, as far as how the links appear, I like for them to be completely invisible. So I take this all the way down to 0 and I turn these off. Again, personal preference. You can also change the color to match your publication, or if you want it to be a little flashier, you can change it to something bright and have it flash. For me, I just like things to be a little less obvious so that people can choose to interact with the digital edition or choose just to read. All right, I'm going to go here to update. Okay, here I am back in publication settings. So the two most important things is to enable HTML5 and turn on the auto link scanner. We've got the publication created, now we need to create the edition. So what I'm going to do is follow my publication, my breadcrumbs up here, back to my publication, and create a new edition. This is the name of the edition, and it's preferable to not name the edition the same name as the publication, because that's a little redundant. So this is going to be either a date, a volume number, something to differentiate this edition from the rest of the editions and overall from the publication as a whole. So let's call this one, I think I'm using a Patagon Journal as our demo today. Again, another RSS option, I'm going to ignore it. The release date, if you don't want the edition to be released today, you can change that to a time in the future. If you want the edition to appear to have been released in a day in the past, you can change this to a date in the past. It's up to you. You can also go in and change all of these options. You can change the publication name at a later date if you want to, and we can change the edition name at a later date if we want to as well. This FTP folder, This is the folder that's created automatically for the edition. And you can see it's today's date. Now, if we're uploading multiple editions in a single day, we want to differentiate the different editions. So it would be important to say this is edition 1 or something along those lines. Since I'm only going to be doing 1 today, I won't get confused by the date, so I'm just going to leave it set as the date. Create edition. I'm happy to do this as well. Again, this is one of those options that's going to take a little bit longer than some of our other buttons, so just take us a little bit of patience here and in the publication settings. Okay, now we have our publication created and our edition created, and you'll see that we are now in our edition settings. Again, different than our publication settings. What we're going to be doing here is focusing entirely on this edition. There are a couple of options for getting this edition actually online. We have our edition FTP details right here, which we can send to ourselves, or we can just click on it and it will give us the FTP information. But you'll also see this option here, upload pages via Java. A lot of publishers try this option, and a lot of publishers will email me saying that they can't get the edition up. The Java tool went through an update about 6 months ago, and since then it has not been terribly compatible with all browsers. We found it to be working really well on Firefox for our purposes, but some of the other browsers it can be a little bit more complex and frustrating. I prefer to use an FTP client using these FTP details. Now, if I click on this, we'll see all the information that is available. If you're familiar with FTP, I apologize for going over this. If you're not, then this is really a very fast and easy way to get your edition upline and to share documents in general, actually. So here's your FTP information. What I use is FileZilla. It's a free service, and you can download it directly onto your device. It sits on my computer at all times. It hardly takes up any space, and it's really fast and efficient for me. Now, if I typed in my information here, I would be sent an email with all of this information, but it would also give me information about an FTP client, specifically FileZilla, and how to download it. Just to give you a quick idea, I'm going to show you what that email would look like. So you can see, here's all of our information. Here's the information about FileZilla. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in this information into, for my purposes, FileZilla. This is our root folder. This is the edition folder. Okay. So I've got my information, US clients, there's our password, here's my root folder, here's my edition folder. I go here to FileZilla. I'm going to type all this in. Quick connect. Okay, so we'll see here's my desktop. Here are all of those publications. So we called this Rachel's webinar. We'll see here is that edition. So we're going to find the PDF, and we're going to drag it into the edition folder, not the root folder and not outside of the edition folder. A lot of people will email me and say that they are having trouble getting that edition uploaded, and I'll log into their FTP site and see that the edition is sitting out here or it's sitting on the root folder. Just make sure you drag it directly into here. See how much time this is going to take. Not too terribly long. It should start picking up here in a few minutes. But you can see just how fast and easy FileZilla really is. I don't work for them. I don't know if I've ever spoken with anyone at FileZilla, but it's been a huge help for me since switching from that Java tool. So I really suggest looking into that and downloading it. Again, it's a free service. So while that's doing that thing, I'm going to switch back over here and show you one quick thing. I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs back to the addition. We'll see it says one file found. It hasn't completely found that file yet. It's still uploading. So we want to make sure this gets to 100%, but we also want to make sure this says one file found before we do anything else. Now to go into some of the other options that are here, what we're going to do next is the quick schedule in the next available slot. Now what that means is we have 20 slots available every 15 minutes. If you click on this and it says that the addition is going to be processed in a time in the past, it's just saying that it's filling up those time slots because we want to fill up every time slot before we move to the next time slot. So it's really just a long-winded way to say quick schedule in the next available slot is going to process next. I'm going to switch back over here, see how things are going. We're getting there. Again, here under our advanced options and the same under the publication settings, this is where we can rename the edition if we want to. You can see some of our other options here. We can delete the edition entirely, delete a single page, insert a page, and replace a page. So if you have an edition that you've uploaded and you look and say, that page just doesn't look right, but I do not want to go through this whole process all over again, that's okay. If you save the single page as a single PDF, you can replace the page or you can just simply insert a page. It's very easy. You don't have to do any uploading or anything of that nature. You just choose the PDF that you want to upload from wherever it is on your computer, and it will drag in that PDF directly instead of using this uploading and processing option. When you do that, you're also going to want to go into the Manage Automated Links area, which we'll go over here in a little bit, and that will reprocess the edition to pick up any links that are added on the new page or replaced with a new page. Switching back here, just checking to see how things are going. Almost there. Wait for it. Perfect. 100%. Everything's good to go. Switch back over here. Go back to my edition settings. Choose this edition. It's currently offline. It has not been HTML5 queued. That's because we haven't run it through the processors yet. There's no publication thumbnail yet. Click on this edition. And again, we're making sure it says one file found. We're good to go. Quick schedule in the next available slot. Now the page is going to automatically refresh, and it's going to tell me what time it has been scheduled to be in the time slot. So it's 7:15 GMT, so it's going into that 2:15 Eastern Standard Time slot. So that's perfect. Now the page is going to start automatically refreshing as it starts automatically processing and picking up those automated links and scheduling it for HTML5 tiling. You can sit here and let it do its thing, or you can go over here into the schedule check and just see where you fall in the queue. We have a lot of people that are doing a lot of things throughout the day, so you can just come and see where you fall. All right, for our purposes, Patagon Journal hasn't started yet. I can refresh this page. We can see when that gets started. No pages found, no pages found. Those are some of our other clients. You can see that you can't tell who they are just for privacy reasons, but you can just kind of get an idea as to where you fall here. Okay, so we've got our edition scheduled. We've got everything created. It should go ahead and pick up those automated links for us. That's great. One of the other things that we probably want to set up, we don't have to set up before we get the edition online, but something that we want to set up just to go ahead and get the tracking implemented is the reports. So I'm going to go over here to reports and go over this option. We have a number of different options here. You can create a publication report, you can create an edition report, you can create a report for all of the links, or you can create a report for single links. And all of these options can be automated as well. So if you have a monthly publication and you know it's always out on the 2nd of every month, go ahead and set yourself up a publication alert or an edition alert for the reports to be sent to you at the end of every month, just so you get an idea of what the analytics look like on a monthly basis. I'm going to set one up just for us to see. I'm going to choose single publication, single edition. A lot of people will ask me how you set up a publication versus an edition. That's easy. So you select single publication, single edition. I'm going to select my publication, Rachel's webinar. And then instead of selecting an edition, I'm just going to keep it set as all. It's going to run the report on the publication as a whole instead of differentiating between different editions. For our purposes today, I'm just going to keep this as a one-off just for today. Again, if you want to automate it, you can choose your options here. I'm going to have it report on all dates. Again, you can also set that up. Kicked me out. It's just one of our privacy options that will happen to you every once in a while. It's just a way to make sure that you are who you say you are, and we don't have people logging in to play with the editions that aren't supposed to. So again, really quickly, just going to set this up again. Choose all dates. The delivery method, I'm going to ask it to email me the report. I'll enter my email address. You can see the number of times I've mistyped my name or my email address. And schedule report. Okay, so here's my report. When it's scheduled to run, it's going to run today, and it will email it to this email address. You can also cancel it. So if you have an automated report set up and you no longer want it or you want to change it, you can cancel it and start all over again and get it set up exactly the way you want it. If you lose your email or you don't want to keep all of those emails, you can come here. This is where all of the reports are going to be kept for eternity. So all the ones that you run are going to be sitting here, and they're differentiated between the type of report being run. I'm going to switch over to this other screen. I'm going to close FileZilla and go through one of those reports with you. This is a little bit older of a report. It has some of our old branding on it, but the information is the same. This is a publication report, different than an edition report, link report, or single link report. Move up here to the top. Okay, so again, publication report. A publication report is going to give you some great information. First of all, it's going to start with just the basics: visitors, unique visitors, and page impressions. Now, since we're talking digital, we can't differentiate between whether someone is reading on the left side of the page or the right side of the page. We can just tell that they're looking at a single double page spread. So a page impression is going to count as one double page spread. The report also gives us most popular days based on the number of visitors, most popular hours, most popular pages, most popular links. This information, it comes to me in this PDF format, so it's something that you can share with your key stakeholders who have advertisements with you or have some of those hyperlinks, so they can see how well their website is doing and how often it's being clicked. So you can see it's differentiated between the number of clicks. How long people are staying. And then some generic information, most popular browsers, most popular operating systems, and my favorite, most popular locations, which is always pretty interesting because we have such a wide variety of locations in these reports. It's strange. I'm going to switch back over here. So again, that would be found here under a publication report if that's something that had already run. It probably hasn't run yet. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes or so for one of these reports to come to you. It really kind of depends on the day and time. That's another question I get. Some people find that uploading and processing can go really quickly one day and not very quickly the next day. We have some days that are busier than others. Thursdays, for example, tend to be very busy because that's obviously when the dailies are running, but then the weeklies as well, and a lot of the monthlies. So Thursdays can be quite hectic. And so that's when you'll find that uploading and processing might take a little bit longer. Some of our other days, or early morning or late in the evening, those are going to run a little bit faster for you. Same thing goes with scheduling these reports, scheduling subscriber reports, uploading media, all of the things that require our servers. If you pick kind of a less busy time, it's going to be a little bit faster for you. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to use this publication list. There are a couple of ways to get back to a publication once you're out of it. You can go home and start all over. You can view publications. Or if you have a long list of publications like we do in this demo account, you can scroll down here and choose the publication from the publication list. Okay, view all editions. There's a thumbnail, so that means that it is processed. That's good. So let's view all editions to get out of publication settings and into edition settings. It hasn't been HTML5 queued yet. It's probably on the list of things to do next. We've already set it up on our end, so that's just something for our processors to do on their end. All right, and here we are in edition settings. To launch this digital edition to see how it looks, we simply click on the cover. All right, so here it is. You can see it's got some of the default page suite information, the default page suite coloring here. That's something we're going to go over on the next webinar, which is June 3rd. That's when I'll talk about branding and advertising and kind of customizing your digital edition so that it doesn't have page suite everywhere. It has your brand everywhere, which is what we want ultimately. We want you to see these digital editions as yours. That's why we give you all of the options in the back office. There's over 600 standard options available to you. And you can play with as many of those as you want to make this completely yours. So that's something we'll go over on the 3rd. And that webinar invitation should be going out in the next couple of days. Here we are. We've got our URL. This is the edition URL, different than the publication URL. And this is something we can share just to bring people to this specific edition. Just kind of play around with it, see what was picked up, see what wasn't picked up. Another thing we're going to be going over in the next webinar is the media tool and how to add any additional links or add some interactivity into the digital edition to go beyond what wasn't picked up by the link scanner. We can see the link scanner picked up a couple of these options down here. So that's great. We're all set and ready to go. I can close this. That's going to close the edition. Oh, I had another edition set up. And here we're back in our edition settings. Okay, I've got a couple of questions that came in. It looks like we have about 15 minutes. One of the questions is, what if you've got the edition online, you've got everything ready to go, you've gone through the media tool, but you don't want it available to users just yet? It's no problem. You can simply take the edition offline. Clicking this is just literally as it sounds. Are you happy to take this edition offline? Yes. You can turn around and turn it right back on if that's easier for you. Whenever it is that you want that edition to go live, you can specify that in those edition settings. When you're setting up the edition, you can say, I want this edition to go live in 2 days at 3 p.m. But if you've already got everything ready to go, but you want to take it down, you just click click Take Edition Offline. To get it back online, go live with this edition. Some of the other questions we have about the links tool, and I know I said we'd go over that. All right, so here under our quick menu, you'll see this option, Manage Automated Links. This is where we can see what was picked up by the link scanner, and if we want to change some of those settings, if we don't like the transparency being all the way down, or we just want to change things and run the job all over again, we can create a new job. We'll ask us to pick the publication. Select the edition. All right. These are the links that were picked up automatically just a few minutes ago. Let's say, for example, that we inserted a new page and we want to start all over again. We want to run the link scanner again, so let's delete the links that were picked up. And here we're taken back to a similar page that we saw before. It's going to give us options all over again to change those settings. So for now, I'm going to keep everything on. Let's turn this back up to 40. It's going to be bright red. It'll be pretty obvious. It's going to flash. So let's create job. All right, so now we can see that it's got today's date, today's time. It's in GMT, obviously. And it's going to be running that automated link scanner all over again. So it's completely starting from scratch, and it's going to be picking up hopefully new links. So if I refresh this, hopefully we'll see that it's running through the processors currently. It might take a little bit of time. Yep, it's going through right now. So this, you can't check this in the schedule check, unfortunately. This is one of the areas that you just have to kind of keep an eye on. But it's going pretty quickly, so we can check back in a few minutes and see how that goes. But for the sake of the question, that's how you go about changing those automated link options at a later date. Another question is, how can I tell what the link scanner picked up? That's under here, under completed jobs. You can see you'll be able to pick your publication out of here. We deleted the last one, so that's why it's not showing, but these are some of the other ones we've done here in the past. We can see the number of links that have been picked up. You can allow them or block certain URLs. Okay, another question I have is what is the link that is shared to your subscribers? How do you get people the information to see the digital edition? That's a good question. I'm going to go back down here and get into my publication settings. Okay, so here you can see we're in publication settings. Because that's where we want to be, because we want to get the publication URL link as a whole instead of just a single edition URL. So we want to go here to email setup details. Now if I type in my email address here, see, I do it all the time. Send details. And what this is going to do is send me an email that's going to look a lot like this. So here's the image link. Here's the publication URL. And here's information for a mini flip tool. Now the image link you can embed on your website, and it will automatically update every time a new edition is processed. The launch link is that publication URL, so it's going to automatically take users to the latest edition. It will automatically do that on its own. So you can embed the image with the link and have it sit on your website, and it will automatically take users to the latest edition. Or if you have a subscriber page turned on, it will default to this subscriber page and then take someone to the latest edition. The mini flip tool is just another option that we provide in case you want something a little more interactive sitting on your website. As an example, let's go over here to Metro US. They're one of our clients and they use a mini flip tool. Here's their mini flip. Just like it sounds, it's a little mini flipping version of the PDF, excuse me, of the digital edition. If I click on this, it will launch their digital edition. They don't have subscriptions turned on, so it would take me right there. And so the directions to set this up are all found in this email. Got a couple of other questions that look like they've come in. What PDF specs do you recommend for best results? What we like are print-ready PDFs that have been flattened and vectored. Now, I get a lot of questions about that, and it seems to me, though I haven't created a PDF using Adobe from scratch before, so that's not something I'm completely aware of. However, when people have issues there, it's usually because they have transparencies or they haven't completely flattened it. It's this almost half flattened type of thing. We want the edition as if you were sending it somewhere to be printed, because that's what we're uploading and that's what's being created as a flash edition. So we need it to have all of the fancy stuff taken off, because then you can use the media tool to go back and add more fancy stuff back on. Excuse me. The next question I have is talking about advertising options in the HTML5 version. There are not standard HTML5 ad spots available. HTML5 is sort of a go-between between the digital editions on your computer and having access to the digital editions through an app. So if you want to get all of those mobile readers, but you're not quite ready to move into the app world, that's where we have the HTML5 version. But HTML5 doesn't have all of the ad specs that the digital editions have and the apps have. So any advertisements that you see within an edition in HTML5, those have been added by the publisher and uploaded with the PDF. So those are there before it really makes it through our processes. The next question is, how do I add a link to a URL that wasn't detected? That definitely happens. Again, the link scanner will pick up with 90 to 95% accuracy. If you want to add additional links, we're going to do that using the media tool. And the media tool is an extensive option that we have. It will require a whole webinar on its own, but it's something I definitely will go over on June 3rd, and we'll play with all aspects of the media tool, specifically how to add hyperlinks for those links that aren't picked up, but then also flipping to a specific page, adding video, adding animation, all of that. So that's something we'll go over on June 3rd, but thank you for the question. Does the link scanner find internal links? Can it jump from page to page? The link scanner isn't quite that adept. The link scanner is just going to pick up those URLs that are sitting on the PDF, and it's going to pick up the ones that aren't seen as an image. That's why we want those PDFs to be flattened and vectored, because we really want the link scanner to see everything as text instead of seeing things as images. If you want to add the option to jump from a page to a page, that's something, again, that we can do in the media tool. It's when you're adding a link box, you're going to add the link box, but instead of jumping to a website, you're going to ask it to jump to a page. And you can hyperlink an entire page that, when clicked, will open another page. There's tons of options there. But again, that's something we'll go over when we play with the media tool on the 3rd. How do we keep people from sharing their subscriber link with others? That's a good question. I get asked that one a lot as well. There are lots of privacy options that are set up within the subs tab, which is back in the publication settings. Let me go back here really quickly. Now, the subs tab is something that I'm going to go over in another webinar, not on the 3rd, but that one's going to be on the 17th of June. But I'm going to go through all of the subscription options, payment options, setting all of that up and managing that. But just to answer the question, here under your subs tab, when enabled, you have lots of different options for privacy to make sure that only certain people can access the edition. And one of those is to only allow a certain number of IP addresses. Now, if you set that to a low number, 2 or 3, or even 1 if you want, then people can't share that publication URL and actually get anywhere with it. They can send it to a friend, but if that friend is trying to open the publication with that subscriber's credentials, but they're using a different IP address, the system flat out won't let them. Another option we have is a URL lockdown, which is just as it sounds. You type in the URL address from which a subscriber must be gaining access to the edition. So they have to go to, for example, pagesuite.com before hyperlinking to a digital edition. And that's just, it won't necessarily keep people from sharing that subscription option, because with enough detail, somebody could get around that. But it's just a few ways that we have to try and keep your privacy settings and your revenue and everything focused at where it should be. See if we have any other questions. That's all the questions that I have. Does anybody else have anything? Oh, wait, here's one more. Can read aloud accessibility be added to the digital publication to meet compliance? That is something that's been brought up to us before, that it's really down to the publisher to use the specs that we have available to work with the read aloud option. That's not something that I've honestly seen used very much with the different publishers that I've used, but I do understand that it's important, and it can be a fun feature at the very least. So there are different ways to use that to meet what you want to meet, especially the US 508 compliance guidelines. So that's something we can talk about specifically. And if you have a question specific to your digital edition that for whatever reason you don't want to use this webinar, and if you want to go into more detail with something, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Again, I'm the U.S. accounts manager for everybody here in the U.S., and I work really closely with Kyle Reedy and Sean Seymour, both of which are here in the Atlanta office, and I'm more than happy to talk with anybody through anything. Again, the next webinar is going to be on June 3rd, and that's going to be going over the fun aspects of the digital editions, the interactivity, the media tool, branding and advertising, and customization. So please join that if you think that would be helpful, or if you really just want to see what I can do. So I've got some skills there. Thank everybody for participating today. I hope you found this helpful. Please feel free to reach out to me if I can help with anything else. And otherwise, I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Again, my name is Rachel Broadbent, and I'm here at the Atlanta office. Our phone number is 404-645-7190. Thank you, everyone.